I'm a grade 1 for the PATH International Standards, and just to let you know that there is no standard that says how you do a mount, how you do a dismount. They set up the space with whether you need an offside barrier, what you need around a ramp area. There's nothing about how to do it and how you should execute it. I want to set the scene by giving you information that I copied from a book that was at one point in time our Bible in the world of therapeutic horseback riding called Aspects and Answers. This is a quote. A spina bifida rider who liked to get out of his wheelchair and crawl up the ramp to his horse. Then he would grab the pommel and the cantle, pull himself up, prone, position across the saddle. At that point, the instructor and the spotter would turn him, and he could push himself up into a sitting position. It was very safe, and he liked the feeling of being somewhat independent. Okay? There is no right way. There is no wrong way. The safest way is always the best answer. So kind of open your mind as to how you're going to do mounts and dismounts. I guess I like my platform up here. Hopefully everybody can see better.
Are you okay? I don't want to put on that side.
I can deal with it if they can deal with it. Everybody hear me? Okay. So what are some things that we need to take into consideration before we start doing a mounting or a dismounting with an individual with disabilities? First of all, if we're dealing with a person that's able to talk to us about how they manage their own body, let's get their input. How do they maneuver themselves to get from one place to the other place? If you think about a mount, what we're doing is we're moving a person's hips from here to where the horse is. Okay, that's the same thing with getting in and out of a vehicle. If you've ever seen anybody take their wheelchair up to a car and they can transfer themselves in. So think about the hips and where you need the hips to go. The other thing is, I love the PTs and OTs. They know more about people's bodies than I will ever know. Ask for their input. Ask for how you need to move people's bodies. They have tricks that they know how to work with people's bodies and get their input. What is the disability of the rider? We're talking about an individual that has cognitive processing but has all the different body parts. Are we talking about somebody that may be a double amputee and they don't have all their body parts? So you have to take that in consideration. What is the weight and the height of the rider? Obviously, if we're talking about a child that's this big and we have a pony that's this big, in the beginning, you pick the kid up, you put him on the horse. Is that teaching mounting and dismounting? No, it's not. And I got caught because I started working with some students that they were 3 and 4 years old, and I was doing the pick up, put on the pony routine, and guess what? They grew up. It would have behooved me at that point in time to teach them the process of mounting and dismounting, so then their bodies were working in that way and they understood and knew the process. The other thing is independence. It would have given them more independence. What is the size of the horse? We talked about the pony, but if you have a draft, it's a whole different ball game. What assistive devices is the individual using? Are they in a chair? Do they have crutches? Do they have a cane? What is it that they are going to use to get to the place where they're going to mount? Be aware that those things need to be there when they get off the incline. So you have to make sure that you have some way of transporting those assistive devices back to where that person can use them. What is the number, size, and training of the volunteers? We need the horse to come on in. So let's let the horse go on into the arena over there. And so the idea is that we absolutely, totally love having men in our program. Bigger, stronger, Quite often we get incredibly wonderful, enthusiastic high schoolers. Not the same body proportions, not the same abilities to work with a person's body. So we need to make sure that that's something we take into consideration. Okay, what's our facility? Here we have a block. Here we have a ramp. Here we have a lift. What do you have available to you? And overall, what we want to do is pick the mount and the dismount that is the least stressful to the horses, to the rider, and to the volunteer. If we've had all this wonderful benefit for therapeutic movement for an individual that has very spastic muscles, and so now they're all relaxed and life is good, and then we do the type of dismount where those muscles draw up again, we've undone everything that the horse has done for them. So try and think outside the box. What is it you need to do? Okay? So one of the things we need to talk about is if we're moving somebody else's body, we've got something called body mechanics. How do I use my body to move somebody else's body? And you need to think about, if those riding instructors think about your position, you've got your ear, shoulder, hip, heel. You want that same position as you're standing, and you want your feet to be about as far apart as your hip bones are, and you want to squat. If you look down, you're going to do this, and it's going to round out your back. If you throw your back out, you're no good to your students. So you need to think about body planning and what's going on. So you're going to use the big muscles in your body, your quadriceps, your hip muscles, and so you're going to do a bending function. You want to be close to the person that you're lifting, because the further away you are, the more that you're having to counterbalance their body. So one of the things you might tell this person is, we're going to get up close and personal. So you want to keep your head up, and by all means you want to breathe and stay relaxed. As instructors, we set the tone for the mount. So if I come into this environment and I go, okay, it's time, we got to get you up on the horse so we can get going, and we're going in there, I have just taken the horse, the volunteers, the rider, and I have split everybody up. If I come into this and say, all right, it's time to get on the horse, what do we need to do first? Then you can kind of set the scene for relaxing everybody to make sure that everything is going to go, hopefully, according to plan. You want to inform the volunteers. You've got somebody over on the other side that's your catcher, and they're standing there and they're doing this. They're not using their body, so you need to tell them, how do you need to use your body? You need to be like this so that you can help bring the rider's hips over. Task analysis is your friend. Step by step, process, procedure, and how this person gets on and off the horse. You are teaching mounting as a skill. You are teaching dismounting as a skill. So think about the task analysis. How do you get it step by step? And again, breathing is really important. You can get to the point where the rider is sitting on the horse and the feet are here. This is what you chose to do. Everybody take a deep breath. You stabilize the rider. They're not going to go anywhere before you do the process of maybe taking their legs over and putting them on the side. So rushing it is going to end up with issues. Okay, somewhere I had a wheelchair. There it is. Okay, I need a victim. Oh, I'm sorry, a rider.
Just like you, Sarah.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to show you several different, if you need to stand up and look, I'm sorry, I don't think we ought to be doing it up there. Let me take your coat off. Okay, so here's Catherine, and I'd like somebody back here to hold the wheelchair, stabilize it. Can I have somebody to stand here? That'd be great. You don't want the wheelchair moving things out from underneath you.